So.
Well, that's because of all the bad blood that's happened in the past few years. So, so the communication that happened at that one meeting really softened a lot of those feelings. And I would like to see it continue to be softened. I see both sides of this fence story. I'm very understanding of what your side of the story is, believe me. And I wasn't totally opposed to the fence. I was totally opposed to the process with which it moved forward and the lack of concern for our safety concerns. So I do think that you need to have a second meeting to continue to soften the feelings with the neighbors and repair them.
I would be happy to do that. However, I'm going to keep, I think as a board,
that's fine.
We need to keep moving forward. I mean, I would be happy to.
I would just like to address one thing. I've been coming to a lot of meetings. I'm now videotaping them. 2.5 years. Where were all these meetings? You have ad hoc meetings all the time now. Why have you not reached out to the community that you are to the West Reading residents in regards to this fence project?
We're in litigation.
You're in litigation with West Reading.
These are two.
Hold on.
Okay.
Are you not in litigation with West Reading?
Yes. we are.
What's the difference?
I was going to answer your question.
Okay.
Okay. The difference is that we, as a board, me personally, I do not feel like I have the right to determine or to say how the entire district should vote for school board directors. I was doing this ad hoc committee so we could find out, let the voting people know the different ways, different options, and what options they want. Because as a school board president, as a member of this sitting iteration of the board, I didn't feel like it was my place to say for everyone, well, this is our compromise, or we'll offer this up, or this is what the community really wants.
But
Which is why we had the ad hoc.
But during
far
a
as
school
the-
board
as far
meeting,
as the fence-
Scott Painter brought it up to go for a community vote in regards to the fence project. Nobody seconded that, and I do believe you were on the board that night.
That was.
And you voted for the fence that night.
You're
And
correct.
was that not the very first night you were on the school
Excuse me,
board?
excuse me, Can I finish? Can I finish?
That
Can I
is
finish?
ridiculous.
Yeah, we're not on our agenda anymore. As far as the fence goes, I was not on the board. There was an invitation to meet and discuss the plans. I understand it did not go well. Whatever happened in between that time happened. I cannot undo it.
Okay.
I said what I said at that meeting that I voted on the fence. I got plenty of input from plenty of people. I did not think that a survey, just for the same reason we didn't do a survey for the ad hoc, is appropriate, because you just cannot get the feedback and the responses to make it a survey that is valid. You just cannot get enough responses. So that's why I was not in favor of a survey for the fence. That's why I wasn't in favor of a survey for this West Reading issue. And if there's anything else you want to talk about, I'd be happy to talk about it.
Okay.
We don't usually open up committee meetings to comment. We did today because of what we were talking about, but I really feel like we need to
Then,
get back to the.
may I make a suggestion? If you want community involvement, maybe have the committee meetings at a different time of the day, because people can't get here at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm the chair and I work full-time. This is the only time I can have it. So
Okay.
I determine the time, so.
No evening meetings? We can't do nighttime
The
meetings?
administrators have to be here also. I mean, they work full-time also. So
Okay.
it's, in an effort to fit into our board schedules, because these are board committee meetings, and, you're taping them now, so maybe people can see them, but.
All right, thank you.
See, I just want to make quick one point. I understand about going through the permit. I understand we have a time constraint as well. I think we do have to keep in mind that there is still that petitioner allows appeal to the Supreme Court pending. While that is not a stay or a prohibition for us to move forward, we got to keep that in the back of our mind as far as putting a shovel in the dirt and where that whole situation stands. I don't know that it prevents us from requesting the new permit you're suggesting, but I think when we start doing this, we better make sure that's somehow dealt with or resolved in some way. And then perhaps the second meeting might be helpful, and that's your call entirely.
No, I mean,
That might be helpful to kind of go over some things a little bit more. Because this is difficult for me, but to the extent a fence has to go up, I kind of look at that, unless someone gives me other suggestions, I'm hard pressed to determine what else can be done if you put a fence up, you know, other than what we've done right here based upon what I've seen. It doesn't state what my ultimate position is going to be, but if the fence has to go up, I'm not sure what else we can do to make it more amenable, but maybe there is help. But I understand it.
Can I sidetrack really quickly, actually, back to February? A quick question to Mike. When you were going through a to-do list, a pretty long to-do list for the upcoming years for our facilities, that seems to be, how many are in the queue for you? I'm wondering, but I only took a quick note because it was a quick PowerPoint graph. We didn't get a handout for that. The track and field facility is on the dock for when? For addressing any needs up there. Fence needs, snack bar needs, bathroom needs. That would be looming also when we're talking about some facilities issues coming up. I'm just kind of curious where in the line that fits, because I know that all of this started many years ago with that at the forefront over the stadium field.
Yep.
Flannery Field was the focus, and then it shifted. So I'm curious where back in the mix Flannery Field is falling. And if that's in stages, like is the fence up there going to be addressed first or last? Because there are 8 missing sections and rusted pieces and gates that don't close. So where in the mix, is that a stepped renovation to Flannery Field, or is that in the future for like a big whole overhaul as well?
I think, you know, when we present that capital plan, I'll just give this caveat, it's a fluid document.
Right.
So, you know, projects can be moved as needed because, as we know, as a new home ownership, things we think are running great can break immediately, and things we think are going to break last another 5 years. So when we presented that, it was under that, you know, umbrella of this could change.
Right.
So we put the track's going to need to be resurfaced out to 2021, I think, is when the you know, that's when that useful life of the track is up. As far as the concession stand area, it was a year before we kind of scheduled that. And it would be, to answer your question, in stages. But you know, once again, those items are fluid and they can move around. So we're not looking until about 4 or 5 years from now for those items.
But that's just where we are right now.
That's where we are right now.
So let's just
Yeah.
think, so as we're dealing with things now, it depends on the need. So as Mark said, that capital list is there, so, and that's one thing that, since Mike has come, we look at those projects, we look at what the need is, that becomes a very regularly reviewed list, and we monitor the conditions. So, as Mark said, if something comes up, we address that. So that's where it lives on the list right now, and that's what we're thinking now, but that's not to say that that won't change as we move forward, should conditions change. Does that make sense?
And to get a report about the fence, if we have issues with falling down, that can come out of my operating budget, so I will, I'll do an assessment for you and I'll follow up next month, on where we stand.
I mean, even because there's some basic maintenance you just fix, there's a lot of areas where it's curved up, where I guess kids are falling under, I don't know.
We can look at all that.
Versus a big major project.
And this is something, Mr. Yorgi has looked at also, we're also, the main fence when we walk into Flannery, where a lot of spectators stand to watch track meets, the top of that fence can be slightly hazardous, so we plan on putting some plastic covering along there to just improve safety. So we'll add that along to our assessment and make sure, as much as we can repair, we will repair. Yep. Correct. That was incorporated in capital. Does that answer your question?
Sort of.
Okay.
But that's a place that needs addressing. And it did so much so many years ago that was the initial focus, and then it shifted. So this has been kind of on the docks as long as even before the maintenance sheds were on the docks. So I guess I'm a needs versus, cost benefit kind of person. So I am just looking if that was addressed pre any of us, I think, Flannery Field, based on needs. And then I shifted focus. So that is an eyesore and that should be addressed. And it's unsafe in some areas too. So that's to me a needs versus want.
So, sorry. Agenda? Okay. Tennis court renovation, I have a very, very quick update for you. We are currently in the bid process. Let me put my password in. I'll talk more. We're currently in process of going out for bid. Brian Bingaman from Turf Track and Court is making the documents, and by next month I should have an idea of a timeline for construction, a timeline for the bid process, and kind of how that looks. So more to come next month. E, district-wide camera update. We are about over March. I was hoping to be done by March, but as I mentioned in February, this building has some unique challenges when it comes to wiring and new construction. We are about 2 weeks behind schedule, so we will finish up within the next 2 weeks, and that is the installation portion of the project. Once that is completed, we will start building our system on the back end. IT will be involved in that process. We have reached out to the police departments, and we are also going to make sure they are incorporated with that process to make sure they have access for those West Reading clients. So that project, so far, very successful. We ran into some hiccups that we were anticipating, but I was still hoping it didn't happen, but unfortunately, they're a couple weeks behind. But as of right now, we have a good opportunity to wrap this project up, get the proper people, the access and the training, and by next school year, we'll be ready to go with a brand new camera system.
In terms of cost, is that an increased cost
It
at
does
all?
not, it's including the cost.
But there will be a slight increase where we spoke about adding cameras to the press box. Some additional cameras to West Reading. That change order will be going on the agenda for discussion next week. So just a little note there.
Thank you. Cafeteria floor replacement. The project went seamless. They started on Wednesday, they wrapped up by Saturday. We had to, since we didn't have enough time to seal and wax the floor, we chose to put a cover over it for that next week after Easter break, and my custodians came in over the weekend and sealed and waxed it. And it looks beautiful. Hopefully it lasts us another 30 years. And so I've got nothing but positive feedback. So thank you for doing that. It definitely makes a difference there. Okay, bus light safety improvements. That was also approved at last month's board meeting. Those materials have been ordered. We have double checked any kind of ordinances we need to follow, and we are going to be ready to start installing them in the next couple of weeks. Not a really big rush, like we said. It was mostly dusted all lights for the safety of our bus drivers late at night, early in the morning, but with the daylight savings time, we seem to solve some of those issues. But for next year, we'll be ready. New business, water heater replacement at Wyomissing Hills. As you know, when we did the Hills project, we assessed every piece of infrastructure at the Hills. At that point, this particular water heater was not due for replacement. It did not We had an inspection in early March, yes, early March, through our insurance company, and there was noticed a small leak. Once those vessels leak, really all you can do is replace them. Now, we solved two issues. During the trades project, we installed a water softener that circulates the entire building's water. That will help with the longevity of the roof. That most likely is the reason why this one failed before it's left. It lasted about 7 years. They're supposed to last between 10, we get 10 to 13. That's the factory average, so there were other factors involved. The water heater, I went through Sandy. We have dollars set aside for emergency repairs, and the water heater was ordered. It should be here within the next week or so, and installed over a weekend. It will not affect construction or it's going to be done in the boiler room, so it will not affect the day-to-day operations. So hopefully that's the last thing I need to report out at Wyomissing for a very long time. That's my okay. Environmental Club Landscaping Project. Mrs. Phillips brought this to my attention, I want to say about a month ago. And there are
Biology teacher, well, science teacher.
science teacher.
But is, sorry,
That's
is
okay.
also club advisor for the environment.
And they have some dollars set aside and also some free labor, so to speak, that want to do a project to help beautify the campus. Now, they were doing I guess it was an assignment to clean up the campus, walking around and picking up trash and doing good things for our campus, and they were also told to look for areas that could possibly be improved. They found the field hockey field, those new steps that we put in that lead down to the field from the driveway to kind of do something nice landscaping around the steps on either side. Right now we have grass going right up to it, very functional, easy to mow, maintenance free at the moment. Well, not maintenance free, but pretty simple maintenance. Sorry, Joe.
Speak so diplomatically.
Yeah, the proposal is on the table right over here. Basically what they're proposing is 2 beds on either side and a small retaining wall on the bottom to help any kind of erosion, because as you guys know, that's a pretty steep bank. They are suggesting stone and mostly perennials, or actually all perennials. So limited maintenance, and it's gonna really, thank you, Scott. And it's gonna really, improve the look of the area, not only from the field, but leading down to the field.
Just as a mother of 3 young boys, I hear stones by kids and I feel a little. Is there any concern that there's gonna, you know what I mean, like that there's just gonna be people picking up and moving them and
Children throw stones.
or they're gonna end up on the field? That would be my
The
concern,
mowers.
unless,
Well, I think my biggest concern when I heard about it was we can't do mulch on that grade because that's gonna. We already have a small area where we got some silt washout because the grass didn't have that long of a time established, right, what we're saying. But if we can do a large landscape run,
the big ones that
easy
they're not gonna.
to pick up off the field and throw back in place.
Like over at the stadium on the home bleachers. Something.
I haven't been under there, so
Oh,
I'm
God.
gonna take a
The kids
walk.
go
I'm
under
gonna
there.
take-
Yeah. Something a little larger, that way, if it is moved, we move it back.
So the big river rock.
I think that's what.
I think the bigger, probably the
That's
bigger.
the intent. Also, maybe not a river rock just because it's a little bit more attractive. Mrs. Phillips mentioned that if we can try to not draw attention to it and put more, it may help. But it's definitely better. You know what I'm trying to say. It's not,
I got you.
So, not as, look at me throw. So yeah, the renderings over there, they have all the dollars and they have the manpower. I reviewed it with John. We still are yet to get the actual species of all the different plants they want to put in, but from what we saw, it doesn't look like it looks like an improvement and something good for us.
Do they maintain it, and it seems like there's plants
Well, yes and no. She said they may need some help with trimming the wood, and that couldn't be incorporated in our other plans as well. But they also said that moving forward, their intent, their goal is to continue to fundraise and maybe expand upon it in that area, or look at other areas to do some landscaping. Now, she came to me to make sure it kind of flows with the other landscaping we have.
If those plants die though, it replaces them.
Well, that's,
Or,
we can talk to her about that. I
because
have not
nothing
got
would
that
be
answer.
worse than looking at a bed than of no plants.
Correct.
Grass would be better. I mean, I love the project, I love the idea, I think it's awesome, but there maybe should be just a little, hey, who's gonna keep an eye on those plants?
I
So
can
that you
confirm.
don't have to. I mean, I'm happy by perennial here, but
Yes.
grass is pretty and green,
Yep.
empty stone flower beds, not necessarily. Right,
It doesn't work?
So
Oh, I love
you'll
it.
talk, you'll talk to her and then we'll.
I'll get those
Next
details.
month,
Yep,
okay.
absolutely. And last but definitely not least, as some of you may have noticed up in Lehigh Valley, this has been an issue, not an issue, but a concern in the media. Mr. Vicente brought it to my attention and asked me to just make sure our district is doing everything we can to make sure we're following the proper standards. So I'm in the process of investigating. What I can tell you is after every water main break, the water company comes in and tests the water. And we just recently had one at the Hills, and we had one not too long ago when I first got here around the high school. So in recent years, they have tested the water and no concerns have come back. So that can put our minds at ease a little bit, but I will still make sure we are following all the standards to do annual testing and also go above and beyond anything we need to do to make sure our students are drinking safe water. So that's pretty much
Another
our
school last night and not in downtown, I think, is it
It's
Upper
starting-
Marion or
Yeah,
something?
it's starting to kind of move, and
Yes,
Mike
old
and I just had a
buildings, no
discussion,
pipes.
because I just agreed to monitor this and make sure there is no issue. So it's on our radar, and we'll continue to.
That is all I have.
Well, I need to circle back, sorry, to the football field fence project. And you two as committee members, is it something that you want to go forward with now, or it's just a recommendation to go to the borough?
Recommendation of the borough.
With the new plans.
I think
Apply
so.
for the two permit. I like this plan better than the other.
As do I.
And we also talked about the mold reductions, I was 6 minutes late.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
We talked
yes,
about that,
yes, yes,
I thought
yes.
that was important, I don't know if we covered that, but I think we reduced a lot of numbers.
Yes,
I have.
Not half, but it's, because we moved them, so it's 26 now as opposed to 38, and they're now moved.
More,
And
so it's
space
not all
evenly.
pile heavy on Gerard.
Correct.
That the right course of action is to go to Borough Hall and apply for a permit for that. I would like to say I know, I have no problem needing to discuss the plans that are for
Either, good.
Yeah, I think that's very important, show that as well.
Well, echoing what both of you just said, I agree, move forward, and I also agree, we must move forward because of the timing of the project, but I also think that, as you said, continue to do that, then we'll continue to reach out to the
I
community
share
and say,
these with plans and we see if there is a site.
Good. I agree. Done.
I'm not sure what I said last time.